going on, everybody? My name is Kevin Jackwitz. This is the Kaged Review, and I gotta catch up on a couple of movie reviews that I'm like 3 weeks late for. I had to take a little break. I made a separate post talking about why, so check that out if you want to. But for Alita, Battle Angel. Went to see that probably a few days after release, and I'm just now getting to the review. There was a lot of hype for the movie. This thing was promoted like crazy. You saw commercials every 5 minutes. I was excited for it. Now, I did not read the manga, so I wasn't, with any preconceived notions of what this should be. So, I was kind of a blank slate in that way. So you have James Cameron as a producer-screenwriter, and Robert Rodriguez directing, so you've got a couple of big names already behind the movie. Rosa Salazar, I've only seen in like one movie and it was a pretty small part, so I really didn't have anything to go by for Rosa playing Alita. And I have to say that she did a really, really, really good job, I think. Very happy with not only the CGI, the way the movie looked all the way through was very good, but melding Rosa's performance with the mocap, it really worked out very, very well. And so Christoph Waltz, he plays Dyson Ito, he finds Alita, or what's left of Alita, in a scrapyard and decides to rebuild her cybernetically. She's got, this human brain with this ultimate power cell for a heart. And so he reconstructs her, and you start to learn that she's a lot more powerful than you would originally think. This power cell is this, I don't want to say what kind of power it is because it kind of gives things away, but it's a rather unique power that makes her incredibly strong and a very dangerous weapon. And so, of course, with any power, people want that power. And so there's this gentleman named Nova who lives in this like upper echelon city. It's like this floating city where all the rich people are, high society people live, and everybody else still lives down on this broken down earth. And so Alita, she kind of gets caught up in this fiasco. They're trying to capture her, and she's essentially just trying to do the right thing. And so there's a couple little side plots that I won't really get into until the spoiler review, but it does create some very good action sequences in this movie. Alita being cybernetic, and a lot of these other enemies have cybernetic enhancements, makes for some very cool, very original fight sequences. And that's especially true in a couple of big sequences, especially toward the end of the movie, where they have this thing called Rollerball, which is this game that they've developed in this new society. And it's very cool, but it's also very dangerous and even deadly at points. So essentially, Alita gets wrapped up in this game, and they send a bunch of assassins into the game to try to kill her, and that sequence is very, very cool. I really liked it throughout. So Christoph Waltz, one of my favorite actors, I think ever since I saw him in Inglourious Basterds. That performance alone, he just instantly became one of my favorite actors. He's so damn good, so nuanced. So he was a very good part of this movie as well. Rosa, Christoph, very good. Jennifer Connelly wasn't there as much as you would think, and I really liked her in the parts that she was there. I think she definitely held her own. I really like Jennifer Connelly regardless. I kind of wish she would have had more screen time, but what she had was good. Ed Skrein plays one of these guys. They're called Hunter Warriors, I believe, and they're this society that they're basically like assassins, hired killers. And so he's mostly cybernetic except for his face, and he's, kind of a bad guy in the movie. And I kind of like Ed Skrein as a bad guy because he just kind of looks like one of those naturally egotistical, sarcastic dudes. And so I think it plays very well when he plays those roles. I do like Ed Skrein. I like him quite a bit, actually. So he was pretty good throughout, too. So as far as performances go, actors go, I think everybody did at least fairly well, if to not very well. The CGI looked amazing. This whole movie, beginning to end, it really sold like the believability of being in this world, and it looked very anime and very real at the same time. They pulled off the perfect balance, honestly, and they made it look, like you weren't taken out of the movie by the CGI, which is great. It really says something to the team that worked on this movie. As far as the writing goes, there was some really hokey dialogue at times. There were some lines in this movie that made you cringe, or just like it took you away from everything that was happening. And that is kind of sad when you compare some of the dialogue to what the movie looked like. It deserved a much better script, I think. Some of it was just god awful. And another part of the movie that really didn't work for me, Keenan Johnson played Hugo, which is kind of like a human love interest for Alita. And it's, plays off of this human cyborg relationship, which was kind of odd to begin with. But then the dialogue between the two and the kind of lack of chemistry, really, that was to me the worst part of the movie. The whole relationship between Hugo and Alita just didn't work. Other than that, though, I thoroughly enjoyed myself throughout this, for the visuals, for the action, and the story. I thought was very cool, unique, and they did set it up for a sequel. They left you off with this cliffhanger that kind of really didn't tell the full story. And a lot of people had a problem with that. I don't think that I did. I think it gives you something to look forward to. You want to go into a movie looking for a full, complete story a lot of times, and I get that, and a lot of people have a problem with them not doing that, especially when it's just kind of trying to point towards a sequel. I didn't mind that as much, especially now that Alita looks like it's doing fairly successful, so we can probably say that they're going to greenlight that sequel. So, overall, didn't have a problem with that. I really liked it. I really enjoyed it. I'm highly anticipating the next movie. I'm sure it's going to be greenlit, and I'll be there when it comes out. Overall, I would say I'd give it a 7 out of 10. 7.5 out of 10. Thoroughly enjoyed myself. There was some definite spectacle in this movie that really took you out of your life and put you in this world. And that's what movies are all about. So, yeah, I'll give it a 7.5 out of 10. I had fun. So, that's where I'm at. I'm going to give you some more deeper explanation in the spoiler reviews, because there's a lot of things I just really can't talk about here without giving too much away. So, I'll talk a little bit more about character interactions and things that happened in the spoiler review, so be looking forward to that. Until then, let me know what you think in the comments. If you enjoyed this, hit the like button, subscribe, and share. My name is Kevin Jackwoods. Kaged Nation, out.